So we got some news that came out a little bit earlier today, and that is that the Packers are meeting with 6'7" tight end rookie prospect Darnell Washington. He put it out on his Instagram story a little bit earlier today that he is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so as we do get closer and closer to the draft, the Packers will likely be meeting with more and more prospects. Last year, if we look at who the Packers met with and who they drafted, 6 of the Packers draft picks in 2022 did have pre-draft visits with the Packers. So if they visit with the Packers, obviously it's not for sure they're going to draft them, but there is probably a little bit of a higher chance that they'll be targeted by the Packers. And so if we look at the Packers, their tight end situation, lost Robert Tonyan to the Bears, and Mercedes Lewis looks like he is likely going to be gone now that Rodgers is also going to be traded to the Jets if a deal can eventually get done. The Jets look like they may be targeting Mercedes Lewis. So the Packers lose 2 of their tight ends, and now on our roster at tight end we have Josiah DeGuara and Tyler Davis. So it is very much a need for the Packers to really solidify this tight end room, and the first couple rounds of this 2023 draft would be a perfect time to target a tight end, and many scouts and draft experts believe that there are lots of different tight ends in this class that could come in and make an impact. So Darnell Washington, if we take a little bit more of a look at him in his last season in college at Georgia, 26 catches for 417 yards, 16 yards per reception, and he also was playing alongside a great receiving tight end in Brock Bowers, so he didn't maybe get quite as much action in the passing game. And if we take a look here at a scouting report by NFL Draft Buzz, at the top here you can actually see, which is very interesting, the player comparison, Mercedes Lewis. The fact that we are losing Mercedes Lewis could make lots of sense here for him to fill in there. And it says here, Washington was used predominantly as a blocker while at Georgia and was impressive in his execution. He, however, given his frame and overall athletic skill, is the kind of player that could become a much better pro than college player. He has the talent as a receiver to be integrated into a pro-level passing offense to a significant extent, and his obvious tangibles would create mismatches, especially in the secondary. We see Washington as a prospect who can dominate at the next level and will likely be selected in the second round or third round of the 2023 NFL Draft. And I've even seen people recently saying that it could be into the first round, maybe second round. So with the Packers drafting at 15, maybe they don't draft him at that point, but maybe he would be available in the second round. And so he does have that blocking ability, of course, at 6'7", and we know that Matt LaFleur loves, his tight ends and his receivers to be able to block. And so considering we are losing Mercedes Lewis, most likely, who was a big part of the Packers running game, blocking, a guy like Darnell Washington could, be good in the passing game and when it comes to blocking. Another interesting thing here is his RAS score, his relative athletics score measured out of 10. And you can see he is very athletically gifted. 9.87 out of 10. And if we look at, historically, this ranked 15th out of 1,043 tight ends from 1987 to 2023. Not too bad whatsoever. And I think if we look back to last season with Christian Watson before the draft, he was also very high in RAS, very, very athletically gifted, one of the most athletically gifted when it comes to RAS in NFL history. And the Packers seem to target players who, sort of hit those marks and are supremely talented and gifted when it comes to their athleticism. So he's 6'6" and a half, basically 6'7", 264. And if we take a look at his 40-yard dash, 4.64. So to be 6'7", 264 pounds and be able to run a 4.64 is insane. 20-yard split, 2.68. Shuttle, 4.08, which is 9.85 RAS out of 10. So insanely gifted. And I do think, when it comes to the Packers in 2023, when it comes to this draft especially, the Packers need to give Jordan Love some more targets because I think it's a shame when you look at young quarterbacks in the NFL who aren't given the weapons they need, I think, to really be successful. And I do think the Packers have a pretty solid foundation when it comes to young talent on offense in Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. But to be able to add some kind of passer in the first 2 rounds, whether that's a tight end, whether that's a receiver, I think is very important for the Packers going forward. And so Darnell Washington could be a guy to come in here and, assist Jordan Love in that way in the passing game, be able to create mismatches there, potentially in the red zone as well. Having a big guy like that, 6'7", who he can really just, loft it up to, could be very beneficial for Jordan Love and especially as well for this Packers running game with Darnell Washington and his blocking ability. So we'll see if this if him to Green Bay comes to fruition. If not, hopefully it's some other tight end in the first couple rounds, because it's definitely a massive need for Green Bay. But that is all I have for this video. If you would like to stay up to date with all Packers news, feel free to subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you never miss any Packers news, and I'll see you guys next time.